Hello, everybody. Did you miss me? Did you miss me? All right, so I'm not gonna take too long doing this. I just wanted to make a few points about a couple of things. I've watched snippets of this interview as well as the interview with the girlfriends, and I just wanted to point out some things. I'm not going to get into detail the way that I do my other videos because this one's already, if you want to look at body language stuff, there's like a million things out there, and I like to go against the grain, so.
I am surprised that you agreed to do it. Why are you sitting down?
Also, this is from the channel Ladies Night, which I just subscribed to today because I didn't know they existed, and they have a bunch of different videos on their channel of interesting, like, red table talks and yada yada yada. So,
with us today.
I'm very tired of all of the lies. I've been hearing things and seeing things on the blogs.
Okay, so the first thing I want to point out is that R. Kelly sways a lot in this interview. That's basically it's one of those soothing motions that people do in extremely high stress situations. And being that he's pretty much on the verge of a nervous breakdown here in this interview that you'll see later, it's no surprise that he is doing that. Okay, let's proceed.
I'm just tired.
What are the lies that you're hearing that disturb you most?
Oh my God, all of them.
Okay, so there's a little bit of duping delight here, and I think the reason for that is that she sort of opened a door for him to be able to point the finger at somebody else, right? So it was similar in the Jussie Smollett case. Jussie Smollett went on and on and on about the accusations and how they infuriated him, and he took offense to that and stuff, when really he was just lying. So I'm going to slow this down and I want y'all to watch. We're going to watch his face, okay?
The lies that you're hearing that disturb you most.
Oh my God. I'm very tired of all of the lies.
Okay, so whenever he says lies, you see how he has his eyebrows raised up there? That's that convincing motion I was telling you about many times.
I've been hearing things
There's... Okay, let me see. I need to backtrack this.
I've been hearing things.
Okay. So it's really hard to see, okay? It's really, really hard to see. But this side of his mouth has gone up a little bit. His cheek right here has gone into a smile formation, and you can see the Duchenne smile in his eyes a little bit, okay? It's really subtle. He's a very practiced liar. And the reason that he would have a Duchenne smile right there is because he knows that in talking about the quote-unquote lies, right, it's something to change the subject, to get it away from him a little bit, right? So there's like a slight duping delight, and just watch in a second how he responds to her next question.
And seeing things on the blog.
Shaking his head, in addition to his eyebrows being up a little bit. He's got, see right there. Okay, we're gonna rewind this. If you're being accused of lying,
I've been hearing things.
Okay, so if you've been accused of lying, you are not going to be smiling about it. I don't know about y'all, but that is one of my biggest pet peeves, is when somebody actually has the audacity to accuse me of something I didn't do.
Things and seeing things.
Duping delight, real bad right there.
I've been hearing things and seeing.
It's a little bit of laughter inside.
Things on the blocks and
Okay, so if you look at his face right here, it's almost as if he's telling you about his kids, right? Oh, they've been doing great. They've been doing real good in school. And, the other day, so and so was playing t-ball and he hit the ball so far. And I was like, man, that's my boy. That's my boy. Like that kind of thing, right?
you know,
Who's going to smile like that? Did y'all see that? Let's rewind it.
I'm just tired.
He did a little head shake there too. I'm sure he is tired of people talking about him, but he also is probably one of those people who most likely likes the attention and his relevance, being that he was a star of the 90s and the early 2000s more so. Having any relevancy in the media is, no matter what, is still going to bring him listens. And I mean, how many of you guys have I Believe I Can Fly? Well, I believe he can lie. Okay?
I believe I can lie. What are the lies that you're hearing that disturb you most?
Oh my God.
Okay, so he's really excited about being able to talk about this, just like Jussie Smollett. Which one should I start with first?
All of them. That little.
Okay, first of all, I love the same thing with Robin Roberts. Their stoic faces just crack me up. They're so good at their jobs, showing no reactions, making sure that they're not doing that, so that truly the true form of the person they're interviewing can be seen. And the more still that a journalist is when they're interviewing somebody, the more obvious the other signs are from that other person, right? So like one of the tactics that's really, really proven effective in interrogation is silence. I've read in multiple sources that when you sit there still and you're trying to get something out of somebody, the longer you sit still, the more they're going to talk. So you could literally not say anything, and a liar is going to tell you everything you need to know.
Girls trapped in the basement, helicopters over my house.
Smiling because that all brought him attention that he wanted, and it got him more money.
Trying to rescue someone that doesn't need rescuing because they're not in my house.
Yeah, because it's just so funny, right? It's so funny to be accused of all this stuff.
Handcuffing people, starving people. I have a harem, a cult.
Harem is like, it's an old Hebrew word for basically like a community, like a cult or whatever.
I don't even really know what a cult is, but
I don't know what a cult is.
I know I don't have one.
He wishes he does. He wishes he does.
Have you done anything that you regret? Have you done anything wrong?
Lots of things wrong when it comes to women that I apologize, but I apologize.
So he says, I've done a lot of things wrong, and he nods his head extremely intensely, right? Then, when he says that I feel sorry for her, whatever he's about to say, his head sort of does this like bobblehead motion, right? Like he's not really sorry. Like he's sorry he got caught, but he's not sorry in the sense that he feels bad about what he did.
When it comes to women that I
like, what is that bobblehead thing, right?
Apologize, but I apologize in those relationships. At the time I was in the relationships.
Have you broken any laws when it comes to women?
Absolutely not.
Okay. There's a very huge consistency in like all of these infamous liar interviews, but there's a couple things that when somebody's answering a question in an interrogation or an interview, I noticed so many of them say absolutely not, as if it were like a scripted requirement for anybody who's a liar to say that in an interview. They all say, did you kill Travis Alexander? Absolutely not. Did you have sexual relations with that woman? Absolutely not. And I absolutely did not. Okay, there's one of the things is you have to watch out for the use of contractions and lack thereof, right? Because a lot of the times, and this isn't like, none of this is 100%, this isn't an exact science, right? But a lot of the times liars will not use contracted words for some reason. It's like they think that if they speak without contractions or something, that they're more believable. I absolutely did not do that. I absolutely did not kill that person. I could not have done that. I will not do that.
The 6-part series.
Versus somebody saying, did you, like, let's say if somebody asked me, did you kill Travis Alexander? I'd be like, no, I didn't kill him. Right? Or did you steal that money from that bank? No, I didn't. Or have you had any sort of contact with so and so? No, I haven't.
Interviewed 50 people, family members, your former tour manager, numerous women who all claim that you abused.
He's got fear in his face because he's like, oh shit, you did?
Numerous women
and okay, remember, we're looking for clusters, right? I point out only certain stuff. I don't point out the whole shebang. But you can see here clearly he's holding his mouth together, which he's holding stuff back. He knows something he doesn't want. He wants. Okay, a really good way to explain the whole tightening of your mouth thing to hold something back. It's because it's like an attempt of like holding your own self down. It's like keeping whatever you have to say inside your mouth. So you like lock up your lips, right? And you're like, no, I don't want to. I just want to make sure that I don't say anything. So I'm gonna shut my lips real tight.
Former tour manager, numerous women who
so
all
he did
claim
that right
you
there.
abused them. Are you saying everybody in that documentary was not telling the truth about you? Everybody?
If you really look at
Okay, so he's avoiding the question, right? He's deflecting.
that documentary, which I'm sure you have.
I have.
Everybody said something bad about me. Nobody said nothing good.
Mm-hmm.
They was describing Lucifer. I'm not Lucifer. I'm a man. I make
He didn't answer the question.
mistakes, but I'm not a devil, and by no means am I a monster.
I'm going to name the names. Andrea Kelly, your ex-wife. Kitty Jones. Lisa Van Allen. Lisette Martinez. Geronda Pace. Faith Rogers. Asante McGee. You're saying everything they said in that documentary about you is not true.
They are lying on me.
Why would these women say the same thing about you? That you are controlling, that you are abusive, that you tell women when to eat, when to go to the bathroom.
And he does, and he's smiling about it.
When they can sleep, where they can dress. Why would all these women tell these different stories about you if they were not true? And they don't know each other.
It's a very strange reaction. You know, if somebody accused me of abusing them, I wouldn't be laughing at the stuff that they said about me. I would be extremely concerned that somebody was saying that I abused them. I wouldn't be smiling about it by any means. And most definitely not, quite honestly, almost laughing about it, like mocking them in a sense.
That defies logic to me.
Right. Until you hear the explanation.
And he's pointing his finger. Okay, so the pointing finger thing. This one's interesting because it doesn't always mean that you're lying, but it depends on the person who's using it. One comparison that I've read about is that when you're pointing the finger at somebody, it's almost like a weapon, right? Like you're about to shoot a gun, or like you've got your bow and arrow ready to shoot some arrows at this person. Another reason somebody might use that finger is as a sort of deflection, like pointing away from themselves, like, don't look at me, it's not me, it's like, why don't you look at yourself, why don't you look at what I'm saying, don't look at me, look at what's being said, just please don't look at my body language. And the more egotistical somebody is, and men usually do it over women, but the more egotistical somebody is, the more likely they are to like point a finger at you in times of conversation that are of the accusatory nature, if you will. Just wait. Here, I've got something for you.
You can start a rumor on a guy like me or a celebrity just like that. All you have to do is push a button
Point that finger, boy. So they say, like, people who use that are, like, they tend to be spoiled. Like, they're used to getting their way.
on your phone and say, so-and-so did this to me. R. Kelly did this to me. And if you get any traction from that, if you're able to write a book from that, if you're able to get a reality show, then any girl that I had a relationship in the past that it just didn't work out, she can come and say the same exact thing.
He's deflecting. He's putting blame on other people.
Are you blaming this on social media?
I'm talking about the power of social media.
Have you ever had sex with anyone under the age of 17?
No.
Let's see if he uses avoids contractions here.
Have you ever had sex with anyone under the age of 17?
No.
Whoa, look at that. Look at that. Okay, remember, Jussie Smollett interview, Rewired Soul. His body language is forward in a confrontational manner. His hands are clasped. He's got, and see her? She's leaning back here.
Have you ever had sex with anyone under the age of 17?
No.
No. No. He said no, but then that second no, he really just effed himself up there because he's doing his bobblehead thing.
Never.
No.
No. He's like being real forward about it. Like, no.
I have to tell you, it's so hard to believe that based on all that we've read.
I'm going to tell you something, Gayle.
There's that finger, and he's leaning forward in a confrontational manner.
I'm going to tell you something. What women said about you.
What women said about me. So nobody's allowed to be mad at me and be scorned and lie on me.
So they're lying on you. That's your...
Again, avoiding the question.
Explanation, they're lying on you.
Absolutely.
Oof, 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 oof. Absolutely. He's got his mouth clenched. His body's forward. His hands are clasped, which when you clasp your hands in front of you, it's sort of a way to protect yourself. He's busted. He's pointing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Not congruent whatsoever.
You feel that
this is so easy. This is kind of why I didn't want to do this, because it's just like too obvious, but...
People have maligned your character.
I have been assassinated. I have been buried alive. But I'm alive.
So,
pointy.
I think the point you're making is, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you have never held anybody against their will. You have never held anybody against their will.
Okay. There's a couple things with this. This is a very strange movement because what's he reaching for? Nobody freaking knows, right? He doesn't reach for anything. He's like tucking his hand in his pocket. Number one, he's putting his arm in front of his body as a protective measure because he feels the need to defend himself. Some people say that when you put your hand in your pocket that you're like unsatisfied with something that you've done or you've said or the way you look or your whatever the subject matter is. This is very strange. It's almost as if he's reaching, I hate to say it, but it's kind of like he's almost reaching for a gun in a way. And let's see if he points that finger.
Well, I don't need to. Why would I? Well, how stupid would never help R. Kelly?
And he's not answering her question.
With all
and he has the ego. He just referred to himself in the third person.
I've been through in my way past to hold somebody, let alone 4, 5, 6, 50, you said.
And he's talking too much.
Why? How stupid would I be to do that?
Pretty stupid. And that's one of those things. It's like, he's not answering the question. And he's tooting his own horn.
I didn't say you were holding...
That's stupid, guys.
I didn't...
Is this camera... Absolutely. Allowed to be mad at me and be scorned and lie on me.
Mm-hmm. So they're lying on you. That's your explanation. They're lying on you.
Absolutely.
Holding back, looking back into memory, pointing finger, fake crocodile tears.
You feel that people have maligned your character.
I have been assassinated. I have been buried alive. But I'm alive.
Swing.
So I think the point you're making is, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you have never held anybody against their will.
I don't need to. Why would I?
So she specifically said held against their will. Remember that.
Well,
how stupid would never help R. Kelly? With all I've been through in my way past to hold somebody, let alone 4, 5, 6, 50, you said. Why? How stupid would I be to do that?
I didn't say you were holding...
That's stupid, guys.
I didn't...
Is this camera on me?
Yes, it's on.
That's stupid. Use your common sense. Don't forget the blogs. Forget how you feel about me.
He's also smiling, duping delight. Massive hand gestures. Okay, I want y'all to watch what he's doing with his hands.
I didn't.
Is this camera on me?
Pointing, deflection. He's deflecting from the focus being on him because he's lying.
Yes, it's on.
That's stupid.
He just punched his own hand. I don't think I have to explain that.
Use your common sense. Don't
Listen to me. Listen. He points to himself. He says, use your common sense. But he's really saying, listen to me. Listen to my truth.
get the blogs.
Okay, when you use cutting gestures like that, he's got his hand sort of in the shape of a knife. It's exactly what you think it is. It's like, stop what you're doing, or I'll cut you.
Forget how you feel about me. Hate me if you want to, love me if you want. But
The knife.
just use your common sense.
Listen
how
to me.
stupid would it be for me
And he's leaning forward. He's extremely aggressive, extremely confrontational.
to, with my
And I don't know if you can see it, but his face is extremely flushed right now.
crazy past and what I've been through? Oh, right now I just think I need to be a monster and hold girls against their will, chain them up in my basement, and don't let them eat and don't let them out unless they need some shoes down the street from their uncle.
Robert,
Stop it. Y'all quit playing. Quit playing.
Robert.
I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I gave up 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career. Y'all trying to kill me.
He reminds me of a little child here.
You killing me, man. This is not about music. I'm trying to have a relationship with my kids, and I can't do it.
What?
Y'all
The aggressiveness of hitting himself in the heart when he's talking about his kids is and this is my own personal opinion, is in a way punishing himself for the things that he's done, and knowing that the things that he's done has hurt his children, much like he's hurting his heart by hitting his chest.
just don't want to believe the truth. You don't want to believe it.
At this point, we briefly pause the interview to give Kelly a moment. His publicist helped calm him down.
I hope this camera keep going.
No, we're going to
This
let the
is not
camera keep
true.
rolling.
This is not, doesn't even make sense. Why would I hold all these women? Their mothers and fathers told me, we're going to destroy your career.
But Kelly's emotions remained raw.
It's real girls out there missing. It's real young girls out there being abducted,
Deflection.
being raped, okay? They really are on chains. They really do have chains on their wrists, and they can't get out.
Robert,
and they're ending up buried in these.
Robert, we have to have a conversation.
This is
Really,
not me.
I don't want you just ranting at the camera.
Well,
To
I
hear
think
you.
I came here for them to hear me
Okay,
talk.
but
I need help.
What kind of help?
This is the kind of help I need.
Yes, what kind of help?
I need somebody to help me not have a big heart. Because
Okay,
my
so
heart-
he almost just outed himself right then. He literally just basically outed himself. I need help. He does need help. He's got problems.
Help.
He knows he's screwed up. He knows he's caught. He knows that there's nothing he can do about it. He knows he's completely out of control of the situation. And somebody as egotistical as somebody like R. Kelly, it's really hard for them to accept the fact that they don't have control.
I need somebody to help me not have a big heart.
Really? Like, what kind of help you with what do you need help with? I need somebody to help me not have a big heart. What the hell kind of thing is that to say? That's bizarre as hell.
Because my heart is so big. People betray me, and I keep
Victimizing himself.
forgiving them.
You sound like you're playing the victim here.
Amen.
You sound like R. Kelly, you do. When I listen to you,
I'm
it
just
does
telling
sound
the
like
truth.
you're playing the victim.
And there, I don't know if you noticed, but there's no tears. Not one single tear has happened as he's having this entire outburst. If somebody's relationship with their children was on the line because of lies that were being told about them, they would be beside themselves. They would be crying. They would be thinking about their kids the whole time that they're doing this. But instead, he's thinking about himself. Another thing about this is what I want to tell you is that I think there's some severe arrested development going on. He's got the way he just threw that tantrum, it was very little boyish. I think that there were some things that happened to him when he was younger, and this is all my opinion. Again, this is similar to Amber Lynn in the sense that like you find her always dating girls, except for Becky, dating girls that are like a lot younger than her because in her mind emotionally she's really immature. Same thing with him. In his mind, in his emotions, he's extremely immature. And so relating to people who are much younger than him is actually not that far of a stretch for him to think about. Now, for the rest of the world who are all actually adults and think like adults and feel like adults, we see the problem in it. But he doesn't see the problem in it, and he doesn't understand because he's emotionally immature. He does not understand why everybody has such a freaking problem with this. He has that victim mentality. He has that mentality of a child where he thinks he's being scolded and punished by these grown-ups, so to speak.
I'm just telling the truth. And the reason I'm emotional,
But Robert,
and I apologize for that, is because this is the first time I was able to say
speak.
something. I've said nothing.
Gayle, you remained tough and calm throughout.
All right. Bye now.